Great. You are demolishing the bathroom and you want to do a new remodeling and you want to change all those sewer lines. But the situation is that the old galvanized pipe that is there has to be replaced. And what a better video than this one to see the step-by-step process to change that old galvanized pipe for a new PVC line that is going to help you to drain that water from the sewer line correctly. So now your sink will be draining correctly, and in fact, if you have the same situation with your kitchen sink, is going to help you in a nice way. So here's the situation: we have a long pipe, and you want to make sure that you change it because not only is old, it's actually draining in the opposite way. You want to make sure that it drains towards the main stock, not towards the sink. And for that, obviously, you want to make sure that you cut it and you remove it in the proper way. Now it's full of stuff inside, full of hair, full of junk, and you want to make sure that you take that out. So let's start with the steps that you need to consider for you to remove this and do it in the proper way, in the right way. I want to make sure that you're not going to have leaks, you're not going to have issues, and if you have to follow this step-by-step process, you're going to learn all the stuff, because in my videos you learn how to do all these things in the right way. So let's use a wrench and a little bit of a lubricant. I'm using this lubricant to actually soften the connection in between the existing stuck pipe or main sewer line from the galvanized pipe that is here. So you want to go ahead and apply, I have WD-40 right now, or you can use any type of lubricant, and you want to use it and you want to let it sink into the threads that are here. We want to avoid breaking, because sometimes these threads are so old that you want to make sure that it goes really nicely, and the threads will actually come out. Sometimes they are so old that they will break if you put too much force. But because we have a beam in the middle, we want to make sure that we actually cut it in two pieces and we can unscrew it safely. You don't want to put a lot of pressure again. You want to make sure that you cut it in the right way, especially because you have that tight elbow over there that I'm going to go over in a moment, because it's a really important part that you need to consider. So I'm going to go ahead and flip. First of all, obviously use some safety goggles, because that is going to save you from all those particles that are going to come out after you start cutting the pipe with this sawzall. Right? So we are using, in this case, a nice carbide metal cutting blade in your saw. And not only that, but you want to make sure that you use this proper technique. Really, really important. So the biggest issue that a lot of people have is vibration with the sawzall, and for that I want to make sure that you put the sawzall and you put a lot of pressure, you apply a lot of pressure against the pipe, then you start cutting. You want to put a lot of pressure in and don't let it shake, because it's going to shake and it's going to probably hurt your hands. So you want to make sure that you cut this in the proper way, and that you put a lot of pressure, you cut it nicely, you just kind of move from time to time, you move the sawzall just a little bit, so you can actually help out and use more parts of those blades. Great. So you cut it, and you're gonna see the nasty stuff that is inside here, because this thing was accumulating so much water over there and residue that at the end you have only like 35% of the pipe working. That's why when a lot of people use the sink to kind of comb their hair, all the stuff falls inside, and look how nasty it looks like. And this is the fate of a lot of these small 1.5 inch pipes that that have rust inside, that have all these particles inside. And guess what? It's going to go all the way through horizontally until it finds the vertical main sewer line that is there. That black pipe is a cast iron line that is going down, and you're going to have an issue when it goes vertically, but you have an issue when it goes horizontally, especially in small pipes that never were clean. So you want to go ahead and apply some small pressure, and once it's loose, you can actually unscrew it with your hands. You don't want to put a lot of pressure to it, and that is a crazy important part of the job. You don't know how important it is to make sure that you remove this nicely, because you don't want those threads there kind of inside the pipe. Now you have some leftover debris inside here, obviously, because still horizontally, using the final inch of the T there, of that connection, so the sanitary T that is called. So you want to go ahead and grab a flat screwdriver and start cleaning all the solids that are there. You want to clean them really well. You want to make sure that all the obstruction that is there is out. And in fact, a lot of the problems sometimes is just in that little connection. Sometimes people misses just that little connection before it goes into a big pipe, and that's why they can't unclog their sewer lines. Now with this brush, I normally use this 1/2 inch brush to clean copper fittings. So you can use a 1/2 inch brush, 3/4 brush. You want to make sure that you clean those threads really, really well, because we're gonna apply something that is really important in a moment, and that's why you need to put a lot of attention, because following these steps, you want to ensure that you're not gonna have drips, you're not gonna have issues with your sewer line. That's how important it is. So for that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and use some gloves. The material that I'm gonna use is fairly sticky. Later on, I'm gonna leave it in the description so you can actually buy it. You can buy this one from this company, Rector Seal or Megalock. I use both of them. Really, really good, really important for you to consider using them. Again, in the description box, I'm gonna leave it, and you can buy it really inexpensive, and it can help you for a lot of these situations. Not only in this, but gas lines, water lines as well. It's a really multi-purpose sealer. So apply a nice generous amount over here, because not only we have these threads, but we are in the middle of this beam over here that they left, this 2x6, and we don't want to run with chances of having this water dripping. So that is really crucial, really important, that you're not going to have a lot of drips over here, and we want to make sure and re-ensure. Now, here's the situation. A lot of this accumulation is because they used back in the days these short elbows. You want to use a long sweep elbow that is going to allow the water to flow nicely. That is going to be our key important fitting over here, a long sweep elbow. This works also in different type of applications, and in fact, when you're draining water, you want to use long sweep elbows. You don't want to use those little straight elbows over there, those short elbows, because that's going to be an issue. So you're going to measure from the inside of the pipe to the inside of the threads. So you want to make sure that you have enough pipe. You're not going to cut it on the outside, but you want to cut it on the inside, the part that you have to clean. Now, it's going to be crucial that these parts are welded first, are glued together first, because we're going to glue it, let it dry, and then put it. Now, if the horizontal piece is too long, you want to go ahead and use a coupling, to work out. But as you see, if it fits all the way through, perfect. If not, you're going to go ahead and cut it and use it later on in a different way. And now to the cleaning part of your project. This is, I'm using a piece of sandpaper to go ahead and create a little bit of grip on the joints. Normally you will use only primer and cement, PVC cement, but I'm going a little extra mile over here to make sure that I have a lot of grip and I don't have issues later on. Because again, I only have one shot and I want to make sure that everything is correctly installed. So I go ahead and just kind of rub a little bit the edges or the ends of the pipe, and also the inside of the fittings that are going to be obviously glued inside. And I just proceed to apply on these ends all the primer. Right? The primer normally is required to be in a particular color, and this is because back in the days they used to use clear primer, and the inspectors weren't able to actually see that they put primer on the fittings, and that was one of the biggest issues back in the day. So using this purple like material over a piece of cardboard, if you notice over here, is really important, because if this material falls on top of a piece of tile or flooring, it's going to stain it. So you have to be extra careful when you're working with this type of primer, but it's really effective. And also you don't want to let it get dirty, because the important thing is for having for us to have a nice clean surface to be able to apply the cement and be able to glue the two pieces together. So that's a general important universal rule for you to actually work with PVC. Now I didn't use that coupling, so we're gonna touch the coupling right now. And now you're gonna use a generous amount of glue on the fitting and also on the piece of pipe. You wanna go ahead and apply that correctly, and obviously put the fitting inside and just twist it a little bit so you can create some sort of grip on the fitting. Otherwise, it will just kind of pop out. Hold it for about 5-6 seconds or a little bit more, depending on how much pressure you're feeling, and then let it dry. Now after 30 minutes, the material is nice and dry, the temperature is comfortable, is warm enough, and I'm confident that I can actually apply some pressure. I won't be able to grab it from the fitting, but from the pipe. So by using some Teflon tape, going with the same direction of the threads, like 3 or 4 turns around those threads. I make sure again, now I'm double ensuring that whenever I install this pipe is not gonna leak. So using gentle amount of pressure, you wanna go ahead and screw the pipe inside the threads. If you don't feel that it's screwing in, don't put too much pressure, bring it back out, and then continue to do the same thing over and over until you get the pipe straight and the threads nice and aligned. Now, using some pressure, remember that this is not galvanized pipe, so you need to use a little bit of pressure, not too much, and continue just applying that. We have a lot of more material there, we have a lot of more Teflon, so our connection is going to be nice and tight. That's the important thing. Is going to, the PVC is going to go ahead and kind of fuse with those threads, plus the sealer, plus the tape. So we are double ensuring that everything will be fine. Now, remember that we had an issue with the inclination, right? So we need to take care of that inclination, and for that, what I'm doing over here is I'm putting a piece of shim on the bottom, but you can use a strap. You can use other means to be able to lift it up. Obviously, don't perforate the pipe if you're gonna lift it up, but just kind of get a strap and bring it up, and it's not an issue. Now, do you see how nice that PEX looks like in a straight? I have another video where I'm going to show you how that works, that nice strip over there. I have another video, and you have to see it, because in this channel you learn all these things. That's why you're going to subscribe, you're going to comment, and you're going to put that little thumbs up over there, because that's what we need. That's a lot of people needs to learn all these things. Now, that long sweep elbow also needs to have a little bit of inclination, not too much, maybe 1 degree, because you want the water to flow towards the main stock. Now, this is the transition from regular PVC 1.5 to 1.5 tubing for the drain under your sink. Again, a generous amount of glue in both sides. Put it in and you twist it a little bit, let it rest, and that's how you change those pipes. That's how you're gonna pass the inspections. That is how you're gonna have a longevity on your drains. That is important, and that's why this channel is helping you. So go ahead and subscribe, go ahead and hit that little notification bell, and enjoy more projects that are gonna save you a ton of money and make you a really good professional. Thank you so much.